Hello and welcome to this video tutorial on Google My Business. This is the first module of 4 where we are going to go over your existing Google My Business reviews and how you can engage with them. So to get started, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to the Google My Business page, and then I'm going to log in as the user that has access to the listing that I want to work on. So for you, you will need to have access to your listing. We do recommend that you have full ownership over the account, although this still can be done with the manager access. If you don't have access to your account, please don't hesitate to get in touch with your project manager from Wonks, and we will be able to give you access to it. That, of course, is if we are working with you. If we're not, you can always get in touch with us and we can look to how we can help. So let's get started. I will share my screen with you. And so what you'll note here is that I've searched for Google My Business in the Google search bar, and I can click on the link here, but it also knows that I am going to have access to the New Zealand page. I also have access to our overseas page. So if you have multiple pages, then you can look at those as well. But for this particular module, we're just going to look at the New Zealand Google My Business listing. So there's a lot of information that we can work with here. Please go through the other 3 modules on the Google My Business information and how to deal with reviews, how to track data. For this one, as I said, we're going to look at the reviews that we currently have in place. So you can see the total number of reviews on the right-hand side and in the listing pane. You can click on the reviews from there. Of course, you can also click on read reviews inside of this little menu widget, which is only available if you are logged in and have access to the listing. So if we click on read reviews, we will see that we have all of the reviews. We have those that we've replied to and those that we have not replied to. So in this instance, we want to go to the ones that we've not replied to, although before I do that, I want to look at all the reviews and we want to see, well, how can we filter them to find out what the results of them are? So we can see the newest, and that is how it is currently defaulted. This is actually a new overview, a new interface that wasn't the way it looked a week ago. This is being recorded in late June 2024. So if you do have an older version, you may have to scroll down or find where the filter icon is. For us, we can see that we are filtered to the newest results, though we can look at most relevant, highest rated, and lowest rated. I do recommend that you go through this and have a look for yourself. So most relevant, I don't actually know how it's judging most relevant, to be perfectly honest with you. This is an unknown quality within the listing. Nevertheless, you will get different results, probably predicated on your own browsing behavior. We're at newest, so we can see the highest rating. We're fortunate that we have 80 reviews, 79 of which are 5 stars. And then we have the lowest rating, and we have a 1-star review there. Now, for us, that means that we can positively reply to all of our reviews with a short, pithy statement of thanks. You can see that on our lowest rated review, we have taken the time to review it. And so we take a look at what we're seeing here. The first thing is that there is what I would term a pseudonym, an anonymous name that has left the review. So Graylin, what I'd recommend that you did for any negative review that you have is to click on that person and find out as much information as you can about them. So what else is there about this user that you can find out if you don't know who they are, if it's a pseudonym, if it's an anonymous person, because they might give some things away. So we'll see that this person's done 7 reviews. We got a 1-star review. This company got a 1-star review. This company got a 2-star review. And then I imagine a few 5-star reviews. Okay, so nothing there that's really going to tell us much about this particular user Although when we come and have a look at the replied to, we're seeing, that they've responded to and tried to get some detail there, but we don't have a name. This again calls this person Gray, and we don't have a name. So there's not much that we can do about that. You can, of course, report the review, which I do recommend that you do for every 5-star, sorry, apologies, for every 1-star review. You certainly don't want to report your 5-star reviews. You want to report your 1-star reviews, and you can choose from the list here. So what would be most relevant to you, I guess, is what you'd put in here. I'm going to say that this is spam, and I'm going to send the report. And it'll send it to the email address that we use to manage this listing. So I do recommend that you get all of your staff to submit spam reports or a report predicated on what is most relevant to the review that has been posted. If we go back to the 1-star review, you'll see here that this was posted 2 years ago. Great talkers, little on delivery. I'd avoid it using these guys. Well, we don't know who that individual is. And so at the time, we responded with the message, "Hi there, as your profile doesn't have a name, we are not sure who you are. Further, we have not had any customer complaint, so we're not sure what exactly the issue is. Can you please contact us so we can arrange a time for our CEO to speak with you? Kind regards." They did not respond to that. And so then a year later, we followed up with, very sad that over a year later, this person still hides behind a fake name and won't allow us to respond to this clearly fake review. So this cannot turn into a thread. They cannot respond to our message. However, any person that comes to look at our reviews is likely to go first to any negative reviews. And what they'll see is that we have identified quite rightly that the profile doesn't have a name. We've made a statement that we don't believe that it's fair for them to have written the review. And then we've responded later and said, well, we were quite pragmatic and even-handed, and we gave them the opportunity to respond by editing the review or getting in touch with us, and they did not. Now, any person that comes and looks at these reviews and sees this will go, well, on balance, Wonks has 5 stars, and this may change. We can't be guaranteed of keeping our 5 stars. And there has been occasions where, and if you look at module 2, where we talk about how to generate new reviews, and the title of that module is actually called Generating New Google My Business Reviews, but it also is contending with the negative ones, is, well, what can you do to be seen to be even-handed, right? Like, so I believe that responding in a short, pithy way is the best method, having reported it, that you can do for an anonymous review. Now, of course, if you know the individual who has posted the review, I do recommend giving that person a call, if appropriate, and talking to them and saying, hey, what can we do to change that review? It's my belief that unless you have, with that particular individual, kicked their dog or driven into their award-winning garden and ripped it up, nothing is really worth a 1-star review, especially if you're prepared to be pragmatic and engage with them about it and see what can be done to change it. So calling them and trying to talk it through is also a really valid way of dealing with the reviews. So that's the negative side of it. Obviously, there will be times where there might be a 2, 3, or 4-star review. Nothing that can be done about those that is dissimilar to the 1-star review. Perhaps a 1-star can be moved to a 3-star, and that's sufficient. To maintain a 5-star review is difficult. And so it is likely that you really want to be sitting between 4.75 and 5. That I will, at the end of this video, show how you can calculate how many more reviews you need in order to change the percentage. Unfortunately, it is not 1-for-1. If you get a 1-star review and get a 5-star review, it doesn't outweigh it. It takes a lot more reviews to outweigh a negative review. Nevertheless, we go back to our highest rating, or we'll see what's there. Or if we just click on unreplied, which is really what we want to do, we want to click on unreplied and we want to then reply. So first and foremost, we will read the review. It's important if we know the individual's name. If I go to our internal system, I'm going to look for that particular client so I know who it is that we are dealing with, because that is important. Who is the client? Who do they work for? So I know who they work for, so that's fantastic. And I can go back and I can say, hi, Lucy. We really enjoyed working with you. You made it so easy and we enjoyed the project. All the best. Oops. And then you can click reply. And then you can go through the list and respond to each of the reviews that you have in your account. Now, one of the things that you can also do is review the, or like the review. So I'm actually, if you see here, I'm logged in as our master marketing account. That's where we manage the Google My Business listing. This is my own personal Google My Business listing and my own personal Google account. And what I can do is I can go to the company Google My Business listing. Now, I'm not logged into this account. This has no ownership over the account. And you'll see this is the older version of the interface. So if you see this interface, it is more likely to be the version that you can sort by. So you can look at the lowest, the highest, the most relevant. You can also search for different options here. But I can click on the like button. And so by liking these, there is a number of different schools of thought as to how this may help. I believe what it does is it just helps to rank the review higher in the most relevant sections for users when they come to the listing. So for each of your staff that work at your business, I recommend that they like the positive reviews. Do not get your staff to give you reviews that will potentially lead to accusations of fraud, which in effect it is. It could also stop your listing from being shown any longer, because Google will say that you have breached their terms and conditions. You should be generating reviews from your existing clients, people who you have worked with. And so the next module will deal with how to generate new reviews and some of the techniques that you can work through around that. So the last part that I want to look at for this particular module is how you can calculate what your reviews are. Now, inside of the module, we do actually have the link to this particular calculator. This is just a random website that I found. It makes it nice and easy for the calculator. And what you can do here is you can plug in the number of the different reviews that you have, and it will give you the star rating. And then you can use that to see how many more reviews you need to get to a higher rating. So if we look at the 79 that we have for 5 stars and the 1 that we have for 1 star, you'll see that our rating is actually 4.95. It isn't 5. It's rounding it up to 5 stars. If we had 78, we would actually be rounded down to 4.95, and we would not maintain a 5-star review. We would then have to get that extra review. So we've worked hard to get back to 79, because as many times as we've reported the Graylin reviewer, it hasn't gone away. So what you want to do is, if you look at your own and you go, well, I've got 17 5 stars, I've got 2 4 stars, I've got 5 5 stars and 2 1 star, and I get the star rating, and it gives me a 3.92, which is going to give me 3.9. If I had 13 more 5-star reviews, what does that give me? That gives me 4.3. Now we're heading to the right direction. If I had 50, I'd be beyond 5.4. So if I only have 3 1-stars, I've got 0, and I've got 25 5-stars, 2 4-stars, you'll see I've got 5.3. And if you wanted to get to, let's go 45 5-stars, the calculation, then I'm up to 4.7. So yes, it takes a significant amount of effort to get that higher star rating. However, if you have eyes on and you know what it is needed in order to change the rating, you have the ability to begin working toward it. So to recap in this particular module, what we've done is we've talked about reviews and why they're important. In fact, I didn't talk about that, so I better touch on that for a second. Reviews are important because humans see them and they believe that they're going to have a big impact on whether or not you are a reliable business. But the algorithm and the machine learning also identifies it and will help rank that particular listing above your competitors. So that is why it's important. And I think most businesses will understand why reviews are important. We looked at how to identify and review and classify the reviews. So going and having a look at the reviews and then looking into which ones you've replied to and which ones are unreplied. And then obviously using the filter to see the newest, the highest, the lowest, and the most relevant. Then we looked at responding to them, short, pithy statements, or if it's and positive or negative. If it's negative, looking to address it, asking them to get in touch with you. And then if you know who that individual is, contacting them and seeing how you can change that review. If you have purchased the company that you're the owner of the listing for, can you explain to them that it's under new management and that you'd like to get rid of these listings, these reviews? And so what can be done to be pragmatic and open toward the change? Liking reviews. So how can you get your existing team to go in and like and to push up the more successful reviews that you have in your listing? And then finally, that review calculator. There is, of course, a written module that goes along with this. So if you want to look at that, I do encourage you to sort of, hello again, just get a little bit of offset there in terms of what it is that you have looked to do in terms of working with the reviews that you currently have. So please do take a look at the next module, which is how to generate new reviews, and a bit of a process as to how we might go about that, because generating new reviews is difficult. And so establishing it as a part of your internal processes is important, because then it ensures that across the year, you are likely to generate 20, 30, 40, 50 reviews, as opposed to not having a process and really hoping for a review to come in. Asking people for reviews, as good as that is, doesn't always result in actually getting a review. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch with your project manager. Of course, if you are not working with us yet, you can head to our website, www.webwonks.com. Thanks for watching.